Hey, my name is Bailey Weiser. I'm the owner of Hello Jude Photography, a North Georgia newborn and family photography studio, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about websites and some of my favorite top tips that I have for any photographer, whether you're new to the industry or you are seasoned, and it comes to building a beautiful place to showcase your work and attract your ideal clients. So today we're going to talk about how to drive traffic to your site, what is involved in building a beautiful portfolio, how to increase your SEO so that you can be seen, and to have a clear brand message that attracts your ideal clients. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so when it comes to websites, my platform of choice is Wix. I know there's a lot of different platforms out there. I've tried Squarespace. I've tried some that are just for photographers. I absolutely love Wix. I think it's super user-friendly, whether you want to purchase a template or use one of their free templates, or if you want to start from just ground zero, which is what I did on my website. Super user-friendly, very intuitive. Easy to use and navigate, and it's great for your clients because it has both desktop and mobile friendly options. You can have a blog, you can have plugins, you can have a store to sell, whether it's presets or PDFs or anything like that. You can do digital downloads, you can sell actual physical products. So I love Wix. I love all of the things that Wix allows you to do. So that's just a little shout out to Wix. But anything above that, whether you use Wix, Squarespace, Shootproof, whatever it is, my recommendation for you, number one, is going to be have your own custom domain URL. It does not cost a lot of money. I think I pay about $25 a year for my custom hellojudphotography.com domain. But it has a big impact on professionalism and your ability to market it. It's a lot easier to market hellojudphotography.com than it is to market hellojudphotography.pixieset.com. Even though those sites are free for domain, I think it's well worth the investment to just spend $25 to $50 a year for a domain that's going to drive more traffic to your site. It's going to be easier for people to memorize, easier for you to say, and it just looks a lot more professional when you have your own custom domain. So if you don't have a custom domain, they're very easy to get. Most of the hosting platforms like Squarespace, Wix, allow you to purchase domains, custom domains through the back end, and they help you get those, get the records, all of that. And so I would do some research, check out another YouTube video or Google, depending on what platform you use, how to get a custom domain specifically for your site and how to attach it. The second piece of advice that I have when it comes to any website is that you would have a clear branding. So branding is a lot more than just your logo and your submark and your fonts. It goes all the way down to the way that you use your images and your brand voice to market your work. And so your tone of voice, maybe the color palette, that's also a big thing of your brand. But does everything filter through the lens of what you want your brand to display? When people look at my marketing materials or my website, do they automatically see, okay, that's Hello Jude? Think about your favorite brand. So I personally love Magnolia by Chip and Joanna Gaines, and I can, without a doubt, pick out any of their items on a store shelf, any of their magazines, their print materials. They just have a very clear brand message, brand voice, brand appearance. And so I guarantee you there's a brand that you have in mind when you're thinking about someone that does it really well, whether it's J.Crew or Target or Anthropologie or any of these other brands. Think about how they convey their market or their marketing through the same lens. Everything that they do is concise and is able to be marketed well because it shows who they are and what they offer in the same exact way. The third thing that I recommend for every website is that you have a smiling headshot on your main page in your bio. I know most photographers don't like being on the other side of the camera. Believe me, I'm the same way. But I think there's something really powerful about having an image where you're looking at the camera and smiling and connecting with the person who you're trying to sell to and market to. More than a picture of me holding a camera behind my face and hiding who I am, it also gives clear direction when you're meeting a client for the first time and they can recognize who you are, maybe in a sea of other photographers if you're like arriving to a park, or if you're going to their home and they can kind of get an idea of who is coming to their front door. It makes you feel like they know you and they see you and they meet you, and you're less of a stranger when you arrive to a session. So I also love behind the scenes photos. I think those are great. But the one thing that you want on your homepage is a smiling picture of you looking at the camera. You can add behind the scenes in addition to that other places on your website or maybe side by side, but make sure that you have a professional headshot of you looking at the camera and smiling. One mistake that I see a lot of photographers make is not having their service location anywhere on their website. I think it's great to have it in your footer of your website at the very bottom next to your contact information. I think it's also great to have it somewhere higher up on your website, maybe in your like description or your about me. That way, when clients are inquiring with you, they have clear boundaries of knowing where it is you're located. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at other photographers' websites and I have no idea if they serve Georgia, if they serve Alaska, where they're located, because nowhere on their website can you find their location. So make sure that it is abundantly clear throughout your website where it is that you serve. That way, one, it weeds out unnecessary inquiries of people just curious of where you are. And two, it eliminates people just clicking off your site because they don't want to ask and maybe not know exactly where you serve, and make sure that you're in their market. So make sure you have in multiple places on your website where you're located and what you offer. I've talked about this before, but the fifth thing that I think is really important on your website is to show what you want to sell. So if you are a newborn photographer or a family photographer, don't put wedding photos or senior photos or pet photos on your website. Market and showcase what it is that you want to sell and what it is you want to actually serve your clients with. Now, if you are a multi-passionate photographer and you do a little bit of everything, I would recommend having different pages for each of those services. If you are a first year of life photographer like myself and you serve majority of your clients are families or newborns, it's okay to have that all on one page. But make sure that you're showcasing the work that you want to actually book. That way, when clients go to your website or prospective clients go to your website, they have a clear idea of what it is you do and maybe what it is that you don't offer. It also helps weed out some of those awkward inquiries that are asking for something that's just not in your wheelhouse. Sometimes if, like, for example, if a wedding, if a bride comes to my website and they don't see any wedding photos on my website, they're probably not going to inquire with me about a wedding. Now, if you want to book weddings, have a separate tab for that. But if that's not something you want to offer, don't showcase it on your website. It's really important on any website to have testimonials that showcase both what you do and how well you do it and what your clients have to say about it. So you can call this love story, love notes, you can call it what clients have to say, you can call it testimonials, whatever you want to call it. But gather good words from your clients and then add a picture of them next to it. This increases your social proof, and it's a really great way to attract those clients that might be on the fence. They might recognize something in that testimonial that is a struggle within themselves. So, for example, a lot of my testimonials talk about how stress-free the process is, or how amazing the client wardrobe is, or how fast the timeline of the photos are. Things like that are what your prospective clients want to hear. Maybe they have questions about, man, I really wish that I could have a stress-free photo session, or I could have help picking and coordinating outfits. That's my most challenging part of every photo session. But when they read testimonials after testimonial that outlines this was really special and this was really helpful, it's more likely to get those inquiring clients into my inbox as they want to book a session. Make sure that the photos on your website are keyword rich and that your descriptions and all of your text is keyword rich. You want to be able to be seen on Google. You want to be searchable. So think about what it is that you offer and allow those keywords to flow naturally into those sentences on your site. You don't want to keyword stuff your website. So basically, if I think of 5 keywords, so newborn photographer, first year of life photographer, child portraits, North Georgia maternity sessions, or whatever they may be, it makes a lot more sense to write those in a sentence or several sentences that just kind of flow naturally, like Hello Jude Photography is a North Georgia newborn and family photographer that services Habersham County and surrounding areas in the North Georgia mountains. Hello Jude Photography specializes in maternity, newborn, and first year of life photography. So those feel real natural. Same thing when you are doing the text on the back end, when you're saving your images before you put them on your website, you want to save those keyword rich too, because what's going to happen is when that gets on your website and those keywords are in there and that metadata is in there, whenever someone goes to Google and they type in North Georgia newborn photographer and they click on images, what's going to happen is my images are going to pop up because those images are tagged with those words. And especially being in such an image-driven market like photography, people click on images a lot. Same with Pinterest. People love to click and go through Pinterest to find photography inspiration. And so even when you're putting things on Pinterest, make sure that you are adding those keywords. Another point when it comes to creating tabs for your website is making sure that the verbiage you're using is very professional. So for example, one of the words that I really like to use is investment instead of prices. Investment shows that it's something that you are going to invest in and the value is going to increase over time, which we all know that photographs do. Photographs capture a moment in time and then they're gone. And so the longer you have a photograph, the more valuable it is because you can never go back to that exact moment. Whereas a price is something that you pay for that the value depreciates. And so I'm going to pay for a pair of shoes. Well, that pair of shoes is not going to become more valuable after I wear them 15 times. But my photographs, as 15 days goes by, those photographs of my newborn are only going to become more precious to me. And so using words like investment, contact instead of chat, services instead of, I don't know what another word for services would be, but just think about what it is that you're offering and how to present it in a professional way, so that when your clients are clicking through, it seems like the experience is already starting for them. Along the lines of investment, it's really important to have some sort of pricing structure on your website, especially if you are either an IPS photographer or a shoot and burn photographer. With IPS or packages, it's really important to have a starting price or a expect to invest price so that your potential clients are not sticker shocked by the investment after the session. It's also, I think, really beneficial for me as a shoot and burn photographer to just lay out my investment on the table. One, it gives my clients a clear idea of if they can afford my services or not. And if they can't, they don't inquire. And if they don't inquire, I'm not wasting my time on inquiry calls and things like that, answering questions for clients who could never afford my services to begin with. And so I personally, I know everyone has different opinions on whether or not to list your prices on your site or not. I personally think it narrows down my inquiries to good, solid inquiries instead of just anyone who's looking for a photographer. I think that having the pricing guide or investment guide on your site is really beneficial. If you think you're still getting inquiries and people are not looking at the investment guide on your page, I'd recommend having a sentence around your contact form that clearly states prices for sessions begin at, and then have your bottom line. A lot of times clients go straight from homepage to click that contact form and they miss the investment guide if it's not easily seen like on one of the tabs next to contact. So if you're realizing that you're getting inquiries still for clients who cannot afford your services, maybe that might be a great way to make sure that they understand the investment before hitting submit. Number 9, no dead ends on your website. So what I mean is if I am going through the website and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling, I'm scrolling at the very bottom of the page, if there's nowhere for me to go or nothing for me to do, that's bad. There always needs to be a call to action, whether it's click here to inquire about a session, click here to read today's blog, click here to read more testimonials, fill out this form to sign up for my email list. Whatever it is, you don't ever want that page to end. Think about when you go to Instagram, for example, and we have the endless scroll. There's always more and more and more and more and more and more and more to consume. It's similar with that with websites, except we don't want them just to consume, we want them to act. And so by having a button or a form or a call to action of some sort, by giving them something to do after they've hit the bottom of the page, they're gonna stay on the website longer. You're gonna get their information. They're going to learn more about you. They're going to inquire. And so try as hard as you can to not have dead ends on your site at all. All right, number 10, you want a contact form that gets all of the information that you need to start out with. So my contact form has required fields. I think that's really helpful. I do recommend that you have a phone number and an email address on there. There's a lot of times that people will be really quick typing, or they'll be typing on their phone and they'll enter their email address in incorrectly. And then when I try to send them an inquiry response, the email address bounces because there's one missing letter or something's jumbled up. And so by also asking for a phone number, I can ensure that I'm not leaving them hanging and I can actually contact them a secondary way, just in case that email isn't working, or maybe they don't check their email as often. Another thing that I really love to have on my contact form is a how did you hear about me? This is a great way for me personally to thank my referring clients. If they happen to send some new inquiries my way that turn into bookings, I know who to thank. And it also helps me analytically to figure out, where are these inquiries coming from? Are these coming from Google? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from word of mouth or other marketing material that I have out there? And it really, at the end of the year, when I sit down and look at those numbers, I can kind of get a gauge on where do I need to spend more money in marketing? What's doing well? What's not doing well? What is moving the needle in getting these inquiries turning into bookings? Number 12 is a blog. I love blogging. I have a love-hate relationship with blogging, let me put it that way. I love being creative with the blog. I don't love how long blogs take, but I do think that there is great value in blogging. I think that having a place to showcase your work is really valuable. I think having a lot of content that is keyword rich and is beneficial to potential clients is really helpful. And so building a blog that is centered around the pain points that potential clients might be having, thinking of topics that that they want to click on and read, because the blog is a lot more than just pretty photos. I think having beautiful photos is great, having a portfolio is great, but pairing that with something that is going to be beneficial to the reader is even better. And it allows you to get more words, which ranks higher on Google, instead of just putting like, this was the Smith family. They wore white and blue. They utilized a client wardrobe. The session was beautiful. The end. That's not going to rank on Google at all. But when I'm talking about some of the pain points, like when it comes to choosing wardrobe, how I helped them decide which color palette would best suit the style of their home, and we talked about, what do you want to do with these images at the end of your session? So we talked about gallery walls, and they showed me their living room pictures and how they have blue and white pillows, and we picked out a beautiful blue and white dress for mom that would complement the decor in their home really well. Or maybe I talk about newborn sessions and the challenges that questions that moms might have when it comes to when to book newborn sessions or what to prepare for newborn sessions. Thinking about the questions that your clients are asking themselves and then going before them and answering them through the blog is really helpful. You can also backlink your blogs to other helpful similar blogs. I also like to send blog posts to clients when they ask questions. When it comes to like deciding, do I want to do an in-home session or an in-studio session, I can send them both blogs that I have that outline the benefits to both an in-home session and an indoor session, and give them the information and knowledge and let them see portfolio of images of both so that they can make an informed decision. And that helps eliminate more work on my end having to like rewrite that down so many times. Like I have already done the work once and I can push that to those clients that have those questions as a tool and as a resource that's already created. Blogging is also great because you have something else to market. So once you write a blog post, you can create pins and put those on Pinterest, and those drive traffic to your website. You can create Instagram stories. You can use captions of that for Instagram posts. I mean, you can put it on Facebook. You can do whatever you want with it, but it creates more of a rhythm to your posting. And the more that you post high quality content, the higher you're going to rank on Google, which means the more you're going to be seen by inquiring clients, which means the more you're going to book. The next thing that's really important, now that we're talking about blogs and words, aside from your blog, every other page on your website, think concise, think limited words, think just the important parts. You want to put enough information out there that answers the initial questions for your potential clients, but you don't want to put so much out there that your clients don't want to read it because it's just too overwhelming. I think it's great to have a high ratio of images versus verbiage, especially in an image-driven industry like photography. I want my work to speak for itself and then the actual words to come alongside that and help answer questions. Also think that majority of the clients that are going to your website are probably looking on their mobile phone. And so having a mobile friendly site is very important. But if I'm looking at my phone and majority of the screen is words, I need to concise that. Like, let's figure out a way to shorten this or to separate this with an image or to kind of rearrange it. If all of the information is needed, let's break it up in other sections on that page. That way it's a lot more user-friendly and doesn't feel like a large paragraph to read on my phone at once. Okay, we're going to take a look at my website and kind of walk through the different categories that I mentioned, just so that I can show you hands-on what I mean when I say some of these things. So the first one was the custom domain. You can see at the top, hellojudephotography.com. We've got that. Clear branding. So if you go through my website, you'll notice colors, you'll notice text and fonts. You'll also notice layouts. I love a grid of 3. So we have 3 images here. We have 3 rotating images at the top, 3 images down here. So I love creating kind of just a concise, practical way of showcasing my work that's streamlined and is really simple and simplistic and isn't a lot of fluff. And so you can see that just in the way that I showcase my work. You can also see my fonts. I have one font that I use for my headers. I have another font that I use for just the general base text on my website. That's kind of seen everywhere. All of my buttons look the same. So overall, just looking at my homepage, everything is pretty standard based off the branding guidelines that I've set for myself. Up here, I've got my smiling headshot, and I also have a little behind the scenes, but this is the first thing that people see. I think it's really important to have your name as well, especially if your photography business is not something that is your name. First glance, people think my name is Jude. That's actually my son's name. And so by having my name here, I think it's really important having a name next to a face. We talked about service location. So I have right over here, if you go to the bottom, serving North Georgia and Atlanta region families. I think that having this is very, very important. There's other places on my site that's included, but that is one that I think is a non-negotiable, making sure that your clients know where you are. Showing what you sell. If you're just looking at these grids right here, you can see I have newborn, maternity, first year of life, newborn, first year of life, families, newborn, families, maternity. And so it's very clear just looking at these images what it is that I offer. I also have a services tab up at the top here that showcases all of the session details and investment, as well as the different special collections that I offer. And we'll get to that in just a minute. We talked about testimonials, and that would be right over here. I have Hello Jude Love Notes. And so each of these, you can scroll through, you can see an image from that particular session and who that person is that's giving the testimonial and what they have to say. I really like for these longer ones to have some bold words that really stand out based off of what the testimonial is about. So this particular client did the Wonder Year collection. She talks about the wardrobe. She talks about taking things off of her plate. Intentional. This one talked about wonderful experience. Exactly what I want to remember. Recommend a million times over. So kind of thinking about, full wardrobe, weight off my shoulders, always look forward to our sessions. The standout moments when you have these really long, bulky paragraph of testimonials, which I love reading exactly what my clients have to say, but sometimes just getting the little snapshot is a lot for the reader to kind of narrow down what to read. Keyword-rich description. So if you go down here, I have birth, newborn, and family photographer for the busy modern family who believes in the importance of legacy. I have my service location. Up here you can see my hearts to provide stress-free family photos and styling to installation for busy families. If you go up here, I believe that your family history deserves to be preserved. It's why I offer natural, timeless portraits and films that are beautiful heirlooms. So stress-free storytelling photography for families. So all over my website, I'm using these keyword-rich descriptions of what it is that I offer and what it is that I do. We talked about investment. So up here you can see session details and investment. If I click on that, it talks more about the experience before I start selling. And then I have mine broken down based off of category. We talked about not having dead ends. None of these are a dead end. They all go to a book now place. We talked about the different offerings and the different prices. To a book now, to a book now, to a book now. Everything goes to another link. My Meet the Team page. All of this here. I have book now and learn more. My contact page. I have something at the bottom right here. I also have a way for them to contact me directly. Sometimes I have interesting inquiries that may not meet the mold of this form and they need to contact me directly for one reason or another. And so I don't mind having my contact information on the website. Some people don't like having theirs on theirs, but for me, I don't mind it. I also have my blog. We talked about that. And so I have different subcategories for my blogs based off of things that I've blogged since I started in, I think I started blogging in 2017. But I have motherhood blogs, I have family blogs, I have business blogs. One's just about newborns. And so each of them has its own separate keyword-rich description and title, and then all of the images are tagged with the meta description as well. So that talks about, we talked about file photo naming. All of these have names of their images saved that are keyword rich. You can also tell that I try to be really concise with my sentences. I've got, a paragraph and a half here, a couple sentences here, and aside from my testimonials, the majority of my paragraphs are relatively small. And then last but not least, my mobile version, which is really hard to showcase on a computer. But the great thing with Wix is I have a separate tab when I'm on the back end of my website that I can click on to toggle over to what it will look like on a mobile device. And I can make adjustments. I can change image sizes and text size. I can actually hide things on the mobile version. So say that instead of having 3 images, because it's just a little too wide, I reduce down to 2. I can hide the 3rd image on the mobile. I can hide, paragraphs altogether if things seem like too much and it might not be necessary information. I can definitely make adjustments on the mobile end that is similar to the desktop but allows for a more user-friendly experience when people are looking on their phones. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope this was helpful for you, whether or not you are a brand new photographer building a website for a first time, or if you are a seasoned photographer wrapping up the end of this year, kind of thinking about changes that you want to start making as you go into 2025 in your business. A website is a great place to start and kind of just start tweaking things. I love going through my website every few months and updating images, putting in new testimonials, as well as updating blogs every week. And so the more that you're active on your website, the more you're making changes and updates, I think the higher chances are that you're going to draw clients to your site. And so if you have any questions, whether it's about Wix or any other website platforms, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Feel free to leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and be on the lookout for new videos being added every week. See you next time. Thanks for watching.